coach of the Dell City boys basketball team, coming off a state champion. And actually, he should have had two, but COVID took one from him. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me on, Tony.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to have you guys, both you guys on. Coach Jones, I know it's been a while since we did our last show, but we're jumping into basketball season, man, with Mr. Hatchet, a great coach. It's been all over a little bit. Coach, for the people that don't know a little bit about you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm going on my 23rd year of coaching. This is my 17th year as a head coach. And, I started actually at Carl Albert Middle School as an assistant coach and head coach down there at the junior high. And was assistant coach at the high school for 6 years. And then I got my first head job at Mount St. Mary's Catholic High School in 2004. And spent 8 great years there, and then took the job out of Edmond Santa Fe. Spent 4 years out there. We were a state runner-up in 2015. And then I've been here ever since 2016.
Well, Coach, it's funny, both of you young men come from the school of Carl Albert, and now you're coach over here at Dell City. So I guess you guys went down the street, down 15th Street, and jumped onto Dell City, and you both have done a great job. Coach Jones being a first-year head coach football, and here you've been at Dell City for a few years now. And the good thing about it, though, you guys have a great chemistry. A lot of coaches, especially football coaches, don't like kids playing other sports, and I know him, coaching football, he's in tie with, with the basketball team, and some of his great football players are on the basketball team, like a Foreman and, Stone and Kanigel, some of those guys this year is part of the team. So how does that come about? Because I know you guys kind of work good with that together.
Well, I think, it's a unique situation. Me growing up in the coaching profession, I've seen how basketball head coaches and football head coaches have conflict, and I never understood that, I think it's great for kids to be able to go to different sports and get a refreshness coming off their sport that they're finishing with football season, or if it's basketball and going to track. And I think we have a unique thing here at Dell City because, I trust Lenny. He's a mentor to me, and I know when those kids leave the football program, they're about to go into another program that's going to not only work on the athletic side of things, but the character side of things. I know he's going to work on character. He's going to teach kids how to work hard. He's going to teach them how to be man, and he's going to work on academics as well. So I know when they're leaving our program, they're going to a successful program led by great men, and that's exciting to do because I hear some horror stories about how head football coaches and basketball coaches get into it, and they have disagreements about certain things, and it's about the kids. Ultimately it comes down to it's about the kids, and us being able to have this great relationship. I think it puts Dell City at a unique position in the state because it's not many times you get coaches that can mesh together and do what's best for the kids. So I know when my boys are going over there, the football boys, they're going over there, they're getting agility, conditioning, and they're getting character work, and they have people besides myself giving them a voice towards academics and showing how important character is. So I love this relationship. I'm excited about seeing it continue to flourish, and I think we're going to continue to do great things here at Dell City, not only in football, but in the basketball program and the character and academic realm as well.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, Coach Lenny, tell us a little bit about the team this year. I know you're coming off a state championship. You lose one of your top guys, Mr. Slim Young. He's playing for Vipo now. Getting a chance to get some game time and seeing him, getting on the court as a true freshman. So tell us a little bit about the team. Like I said, the year before, you had a good chance to win it, and COVID hit, so it kind of cut you guys short. You come back, last year 2 winners. So tell us about the team this year.
We're starting off. We had a good start off. We started off 2-0. We just got out of that Norman Invitational tournament this weekend, and we went 1-2. But it was probably some of the toughest competition we've had this early in the year. We still got some youth, and I say youth with some inexperienced players that didn't play a lot of varsity last year. But we were in the same boat last year about this time, and I know the type of players we got. My coaching staff, we don't panic. We just kind of continue to keep grinding and keep working and it's not about where you're at now, it's about where you want to be when March hits.
That's it. March Madness. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell us about some of the top guys. I know you got a guy on the team that's just a sophomore, has already got some commitments. I think Kansas kind of looking at this young man. So tell us about this big young man. I guess he's a baby, but a young man, playing the big center.
Well, he's actually a junior.
A junior, okay, I'm sorry.
Brandon Garrison. In fact, we're pretty loaded with juniors. We only have 2 seniors this year. So we're pretty junior oriented, but Brandon Garrison, he's got quite a few offers right now. University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Tulsa, SMU, and Arkansas and Texas A&M. Those are his ones he's got. So, but he's a humble kid. He's a coachable kid. He's still learning every day. He's got a lot of development to do, but when he gets to that top of that development, he's gonna be a special player.
That's good stuff. So you said you came off the Norman invitation, some top-notch talent, and good schools in there. Name some of the schools that was in that tournament last weekend.
Oh, you had Tulsa Memorial, which won it. That'd be PC West. You got Norman. You got Norman North. You got Norman High. You had, of course, we were in it. Lawton Mack, Ardmore. All those teams were state tournament teams or state contender teams from last year. So definitely a competitive tournament. They gave us a great hospitality. Treated everybody. Fed all the kids after every game. Just really good for our kids just to experience this early, and now they kind of get a little more of a wake-up call to know we got to continue to keep working on it.
And I kind of, to piggyback on that, I kind of like that mentality. Next year in football, we're opening up with some tough competition.
Yes, sir.
Choctaw, Booker T, Midwest City. I think when you open up with tough competition early in the season, it can kind of show some flaws and it can kind of show some strengths and negatives, and it can allow you to work on some things that really benefit you in later on in the season. So I kind of like the competition they had. And like Coach Hatchet said, I seen the same thing last year, the exact same thing. And I seen them be able to regroup, work on those deficiencies, and be able to make a run and go win the title. So I'm excited to see it come to fruition this year.
So, Lenny, that's good stuff. Like, having Coach Jones on your side, man. I know me and him kind of talk, at least once, twice a week, and he believes in you, and having that, like I said, that wake up call. Most coaches are down and upset, but he said, you're like, hey, man, this is what we need. Sometimes that wakes a team up because sometimes you can be this high, especially coming off a state championship. Everybody's after you because you won it. I mean, so everybody's gonna give you their best game, and like you said, dropping down to 5A or 6A, you guys are playing the top competition week in and week out. So, what do you feel like this year's team is different from last year's team, though? Besides the youth.
The difference I think that we have is just, we don't have that experience at our guard position that we've had in the past. I've been blessed over here with some really, really good guards, and we have good guards now. They just haven't been as seasoned as some of those other guards that we've had in the past. And they'll get there. But, when you lose not only Keandre Young, we lost Sherrod Davis, which was a tough kid for us that played inside, and, Javion McAllister, which is our starting point guard, he was about as tough as they come, and he's also playing college basketball right now down in Southwestern. So, when you lose those type of guys, now it's time for those other younger guys. They got to be able to step up, be ready to go.
Time to grow up.
They got time to grow up. So, and they'll get there, and they know they will. And that's the one thing I really like about these guys and these kids here at Del City. They don't fear nothing. They like that adversity, and when they lose, they're gonna come back ready to work.
I tell you, Del City's been blessed to have two great young men, as the head coaches of football and basketball. And I've known you for a while, Lenny. I've coached your brother in baseball, so it's good to see what you both have done. Because me and Jones talk about this week in and week out. Del City gets kind of a bad name, but if you look at two guys that's sitting on this show this morning, two class act young gentlemen that takes pride in not just sports but just education. Yes. And I know you both do that, and these kids are blessed to have you two as role model and then father figures too, because some of these kids probably not have that mom or dad, and you guys got to play that role. I know Jones does, and I know you do too. So it's just tickled to see what you guys have done with this program, man. Like I said, Jones, first year head coach, wins district, coach of the year, and here you are in at Del City for a few years now. And like I said, you should have 2 state championships under the belt, and you have a good chance this year. So tell me a little bit about your staff that you have on the on the staff this year, as far as helping
still
you
got
coach.
Tommy Griffin's been with me for it's going on 9 years. His not only his name but his accolades that he's done since he's been coaching speaks for itself. He's got over 8 state championships, and of course he's got 2 sons that have done great things. One currently in the NBA. Tondrell Durham, which is our other assistant coach, brought him on last year. He used to be former head coach at McGuinness. He's got 6 state championships, and then we got Coach Morrow, which is our freshman coach, and also one of our assistant coaches. And I can say he's got a state championship under his belt because he was on the staff last year. So
yes, sir.
The thing about that staff that I have is that they've all been head coaches.
Yeah.
And when if there's a reason that I'm not able to be at practice for whatever reason, I know those guys are taken care of. Those guys are going to do what they need to do, and we're all on the same page. It's all about discipline. It's all about doing things right. It's about making sure our kids are being accountable. And when you have a staff that everybody does the same things on the same page, that means those players are hearing it from from different voices, but it's the same message.
Same message, yes, sir. Well, Coach, I know you guys are going to a big tournament during Christmas break, right?
Yes.
Is it was it Tournament Champions?
Tournament Champions.
So tell me about that. How do you get that invite? Is it for state champions only? Is it teams in Oklahoma? Is it teams from all over?
No, it's teams from Oklahoma and how they usually do it. It's kind of I use David and Goliath type deal.
Yes, sir.
They always try to get your best of your smaller schools also to the best of your bigger schools, and so they always try to get that matchup where maybe that Class A school is going to meet maybe that Class 5 or 6A team in the finals. But whether you won a state championship or not, they usually try to find teams that know they have a really, really good group of kids coming back. I still think there's a lot of teams that probably don't get invited that are really good, that probably deserve, but it's definitely an honor to go to it.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to mention Owasso was in that Norman tournament,
Okay.
and they're also in the tournament champions. So you got Tulsa Memorial back in the tournament champions, you got Jinx, you got Owasso, you got us. Hydro Eakley. I mean, it's gonna be a fun tournament.
That's another tough tournament. So when does that fall? Is it right after Christmas?
It's right after Christmas, December 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay.
I know I'm missing 2 other teams that I didn't mention, but I wanted to make sure our guys got a chance to do it because we got to go in 2020. It was last year we went and we won it. First time ever being invited, and we come out upset Booker T. Washington.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
beat Booker T. Washington when they had Bryce Thompson and
Yes,
all
sir.
that group. So. This group here hasn't really got to experience it, and if you get invited, I think I encourage coaches to go to it. They take care of you, and Tulsa's. And actually this year they're actually going to let us play in the BOK Center. We're not playing at ORU, so I've never coached in that arena, and it's going to be a pretty neat little deal for our guys.
Absolutely, yeah. What date? What were the dates again? Because we need all our Dell City alumni. We need all the parents to come out and support. We need everybody out there. So what dates were it?
It's December 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay.
Like you said, it's gonna be at the BOK Center.
It'll be all games are at the BOK Center.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I think they wrestled there before. I think my son has got to wrestle in that building, and I know they do a lot of concerts. So that'd be a good time for those kids.
Yeah,
kind of like playing down at the fairgrounds, Just that's a nicer version.
Yeah. That's the one place I would love to go coaching. I still haven't been at the fairgrounds.
That's pretty cool, but I think that's
didn't they move? Well, they moved it to Norman.
Yeah,
for the state
tournament's in Norman this year. Yeah.
Well, Lenny, I tell you, man, like you said, you've done a great job. But I got to ask you though, man, because you're one of the hottest coaches out here in the 5A, 6A, whatever ranks it is. But you have a young daughter that plays the game too, and I always hit you up because I have a daughter that's close to the same age. I always hit you up like, do you ever see yourself going to coach the girls though?
I
you got to keep it 100.
I can't say no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You never know. But I do enjoy getting to just kind of watch her from the stands.
Yes.
I get my hands on her enough and when we bring her up to the gym and summertime and things like that. But, if the opportunity came about and it's the right deal,
yes,
then, I definitely look into it. I don't know if she would want me to coach all the time. But
hey, I understand. I got to ask you though. So since you are a coach and you are a dad, and I know you let the coach do the coach because I've been in the stands next to you, and you kind of sit back. So does she look up at you if she misses a shot or she do something wrong? Does she give you that look like?
No, she don't really, because I try to keep it quiet.
That's good.
Sometimes I will say something, but
you gotta help me there.
She's pretty locked in. She always says, she's pretty focused on what she's trying to do, which is good.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
She's been around the game a lot. Both of my kids pretty much grew up in the gym. Some at whatever school I was at, so they've seen a lot of basketball, and it's just fun to watch those kids grow and play and enjoy the game, and I think that's what it's really about.
That's good stuff. They don't have it, like I said. I know when I did that little team, I coached this over the fall, the little football team, and it's always every game. She's on the sideline, being my water girl, my tea girl, and I know as your kids, being next to you and watching you grow up and do these things, man. Like I said, it's just amazing to see what you've done. Like I said, coming from Santa Fe, being at Mount St. Mary, now coming over here to Dell City and win the state championship. And like I said, I know you guys took a loss this over the weekend, but I think that's going to help you and help these young men grow because, like I said, you know as well as I know, it's hard to go undefeated in basketball. It really
hard.
is, man.
It's hard.
It might be a trivia question we can put out there. I don't know if a team's ever went undefeated. But so what's coming up here in the next few weeks for us teams? I know you got PC West, a team that just beat you last week. And is there anything that you can change? I know Coach Lenny Burt's a good coach, he's a Middle City guy, and you're a Colorado guy. So it's always that little rival still there. So, you got them guys coming this Friday night. What do they have that, maybe kind of, knocked you off last week that you think you can change things?
They just play tough. Like I said, Coach Burt does a really good job with his group. Those guards play extremely hard and tough for them, and they shot the ball well, against us. A couple of their guards shot the ball well, and it was, we had a chance. We had some chances in there in that game. Kind of went back and forth, but we have to do is just kind of control what we control. And I've got a lot of respect for Coach Burt, but when we get on that floor, we both are trying to win.
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the game, we shake, hug, and he's been a good mentor to me and a good friend, and same as Coach Jones. And I think a lot of people don't realize is that even though we're coaches now, we all kind of grew up in the same era.
Yes,
I know me and Lenny grew up in the same
Yes,
era,
sir.
and I was able to watch Coach Jones when he was in high school.
Yes, sir.
So I knew, knowing all that and having that relationship way before we even thought about coaching, I think it's kind of what gets us to where we're at now and makes this even much a better relationship between us and this place at Dell City.
I will say though, I'm gonna give it up to you, Coach Lenny. You and Coach Burt's probably the two best dressed coaches in high school basketball. You talking about some clean coaches on that side. Hey, they both look good, man. So, like I said, I'm glad you got to come on. The Coach Jones show, Keep It 100. It's something I would love to keep doing. Talking basketball. I don't know that much about high school's basketball as much as I do football, but it's something that I think that if we keep promoting it, and especially like I said, you got one of the top players in the state, and not only having him, you still got Jason Foreman, a young man we'll talk about here when we do the Coach Jones show. Yeah. That's that's committed to go play Oklahoma State. Then you got Stone, a highly recruited guy. Then you got Kanigel. So you got some players that you both share, and I think that's so amazing that you guys both can share those young men. And had a respect, to like he said earlier, you're not bickering like, oh, I gotta have him in basketball, I gotta have him in football. Like I told Coach Jones too, one thing about your basketball players that's coming out of football, they're not in basketball shape yet. They're still early.
No, it's still early.
It's still early.
They haven't reached. And Foreman's probably, one of the few ones that actually kind of came out in a little better shape than I expected. I was really shocked. He's doing a really, really good job for us. And all the ones you named, Kanigel, Stone, all those guys, they're stepping in right now and just kind of picking up where they left off. And
awesome.
I think that's a huge testament just for their commitment, understanding what they've been doing. And, I've taken pride over here is that we can win with Dell City kids. And I know I've told Coach Jones that a long time. And I think that was the one thing that when we talked about it, when we won that state tournament is everybody that got that gold medal and got to hold us that gold ball either came from Kerr, Delcrest, and went to Dell City.
That's it.
So that's something that we try to push, and I preach to my kids all the time because a lot of people can't handle being over at Dell City.
No,
and I say that not to be arrogant or nothing, but not Dell City's not for everybody.
Yes, sir.
And the ones that stay here, they end up being rewarded and they end up having some success.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on the Coach Jones show. Any closing words you want to tell the team? Anybody out there? Tell the beautiful wife of yours.
Well, she's the rock of the family. You know that.
I'll tell you that though. I was gonna say, being a coach's wife, you gotta be tough. Doing all the game. I gotta ask you this though, man. Being a coach, taking some losses, how do you handle that? Do you stress? You go home and watch a bunch of film? Do you say, hey man, I'm gonna sweep this under the rug and we're gonna start over tomorrow?
I've gotten better in my years of not trying to take it home.
That's good.
I've learned to not try to take it home. She knows I'm frustrated, upset, but she was also a former college athlete, so she can kind of talk, bring me down a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And honestly, when you get home and you hug 2 kids, sometimes you move on. You move on, and you get back to work the next day, and you can do all the film and all that stuff you need, and that's something that our kids know, and that's why I like to bring our kids around here, because I want our kids to see what it's like to raise a family and have your kids around. And I think that's something Coach Jones and I like to do when we have our kids around here, just so our guys that we're coaching see that. And I think that's important.
That's
so.
right.
But I don't let it get to me too much. I sometimes I hold them more into myself.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, Coach Lenny, I appreciate you coming. Like I said, coming on the Coach Jones show. Like I said, thank you for coming on the Coach Jones show. And we'll be back after one of our sponsors. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Coach Jones show. Our special guest this morning was Lenny Hatchet, the head basketball coach of the Dell City Boys basketball team. Like I said, coming off a state championship. He joined us this morning to kind of talk about what they got going. I know he's coming off a tough loss last weekend in the Norman, the Norman Invitation. But I tell you, the guy, if anybody can get the team turned around, be Coach. Coach Lenny, he's been doing this, like I said, for almost 20-some years.
Yes, sir.
He's coached, 4 or 5 different schools, and being over here at Del City, a Colorado graduate. You both are Colorado graduates. It's kind of funny to see 2 Colorado men over at Del City, but hey, that's how it works. And you guys both have done a great job turning this program around in football and basketball. So, Coach Jones, I know we haven't done a show in a while, but it's good to see you this morning.
Yes, I'm excited to be back.
Yes, sir.
Starting to get in the groove of things. So being done with football. We got some great things going on here, like you said, with basketball. Coach Hatchet's a great coach.
Yes,
Coach of the year last year, winning state championship in 6A, and drop him down. We have a saying around here that losing builds character.
Yes, sir.
They dropped a couple last week, but I know they're going to rebound from it. I know how Lenny is, and I remember them being in this same kind of position last year, and they were able to build the program to where they were able to make that a magical run last year. So I know he's going to get the things done. I know I spoke shortly about how our relationship helps this program, not only football, but just the athletic program overall. We have a great relationship with each other. I go to him for mentorship. I go to him for guidance. He helps me with athletic director duties and responsibilities. And I think us sharing these kids and showing these kids that it doesn't have to be, you don't have to specialize in one sport.
Yes.
You can be a football star. You could be a basketball star. Not only do we work with each other in basketball and football, Lenny also coaches track with me. We were able to win a state championship in track in 2019, and he was able to help me with the long jumpers and some of the sprinters. So we have a unique relationship there. We're not just building basketball and football, but we're building a track program together, and it's all meshing together, and it gives the kids a unique experience here at Del City. And I don't think you're going to be able to find that in most places in Oklahoma. I think some of the coaches have egos, and they want their programs to excel. I understand, and I'm humble enough to know that if Lenny is successful, I'm going to be successful. If those basketball players that play football win a state championship in basketball, that's only going to transfer to football, and it's going to elevate us to where we want to be. So I'm thankful for him, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to work with him.
Well, Coach Jones, like I said, right now we're deep in the men and women's basketball here at Del City, and both teams are doing well. But I tell you, I know you got some of the guys in the off-season program. I think you got the freshmen going in the morning.
Yes, sir.
And you kind of got those guys. That's where it starts at. Those next classes is where you get that depth, and you get you might find 1 or 2 of those freshmen that can come play next year as a sophomore. So how's that kind of going? With the weightlifting and the off-season training so far. How's it been going?
It's been going great. That first couple of weeks you kind of licking your wounds. You kind of start to you kind of start seeing the things that you're not on your normal routine. You kind of have to do things different. And then you also have a time of reflection that you can appreciate the year that we had. We had a magical year, so I'm thankful for those seniors. And we'll talk about them here in a minute, some of the awards they won with all district and things like that. Right now in the mornings from 7:30, we start freshman off season at 7:30. We get out there a little bit, and we lift for about 50 minutes. And we're also doing study hall with them as well. We're lifting with the older guys for an hour right now. I really want to focus on lifting and some small feet work stuff, build some muscle. But also, besides the lifting and off season, we're doing study hall 4 times a week with the older guys, and we're doing ACT prep. I really want to work on the academic side of things this off season. I've never done this before. Sometimes we get so tied up and we got to work, we got to do this. But if we're not building student athletes, and we're not really showing them how to have reading comprehension, how to be illiterate, how to write, how to work on math, how to get an ACT score that's going to benefit them in the future, what are we really doing? I don't want to just build the athlete, I want to build a person. So our focus right now is really on lifting. We're going to jump straight into the powerlifting season. I really want to go try to get a state title in that area.
Yes,
powerlifting is kind of overlooked sometimes. Then we got some of our other guys who don't have a second sport in wrestling. We had 9 to 12 players that weren't doing second sports, and now they're wrestling as well. So now we got our kids in different sports, so they're not specializing in one, they'll be able to get refreshed, and then we're really hammering that study hall. I want to teach kids how to study, how to sit in a room and be quiet, how to be able to just focus on your homework, focus on finals, whatever you're working on. Because when you go to college, a lot of kids don't have the study habits.
No, you're right.
They don't have the comprehension to be able to sit in class and be able to take 3 pages of notes and then go home and study themselves. So I want to be able to have kids understand that, and when they leave Del City, they'll be able to be in a role where they could be a student athlete or just a regular college student. Everybody doesn't make it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when they're in our program, I don't want to just work on the football player. I want to work on the whole person. And I think that's what we're doing right now in the off season. And then as we gear towards the latter part of January, going into February, we'll start gearing up with track. But right now our focus is lifting, study hall, wrestling, and then those guys that are in basketball. So I'm really excited about it.
But Coach, like I said, man, that's good stuff. One thing I really like what you just said, man, is you're getting a kid prepared to go to college and take notes.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it 100, Coach. I wasn't ready when I went to college to take notes. I mean, and now to see that you guys are doing that, because, like I said, when you go to college, you're off by yourself. You don't have mom and dad getting you up.
Yes, sir.
You have to do it. You got to go to class. I mean, it's easy for a lot of these guys not to go to class because you don't have no one telling you to get up and to go to class. So
Yes,
I like what you're doing in that aspect of getting these guys ready, men and women, ready for the next level.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, those season's been over for a few weeks. Sand Springs having to knock you guys off, a team that you had beat earlier in the year, Deer Creek. To win district, end up making it to the state championship, getting beat by Bigsby. Bigsby keeps doing her thing, and everybody knows that. Hey, what Bigsby is? They beat Jinx, a team that won it in Big 6A. So you really can say Bigsby's number one team in 6A and small 6A. But one of the things is, as we've been gone for a few weeks, one of your top defensive linemen, Jaden Foreman, picked up. He committed to go play football school that you played at, Oklahoma State, man, and I think that has to make you proud. One, a school that you played, your alumni, and two, a guy that's played for you that's going to take his talents to Oklahoma State. But I did have a question. Even though that Coach Knowles is leaving, do you still see Foreman going to Oklahoma State?
I think Oklahoma State has done a great job of creating a defensive culture. Me myself, I understand that Coach Knowles is a great coach.
Yes,
and he did some great things at Oklahoma State, but whenever a program is having success to the level they had defensively, that doesn't just come from one person.
No.
That was a culture that was created with the assistant coaches, the players, and it's going to continue to move. Just like in Oklahoma. Oklahoma had success offensively before Lincoln Riley, and they're going to have success offensively after Lincoln Riley. So the culture that Oklahoma State set this year defensively, I think that's going to continue to grow. The one thing I love about Oklahoma, you see it yourself with Jaden Foreman, they are getting Oklahoma kids an opportunity to go out there and play, and we're showing in Oklahoma that we can play football and we can play at a high level. You look at Cam Oliver, he had 10.5 sacks as the first
led
team
the Big 12.
All-America. He led the Big 12. You look at Brandon Presley, you got from Bixby. You look at Dominic Richardson, the running back from Bishop McGinnis.
Yes.
Jason Taylor from Carl Albert, a
Yes,
Middale
sir.
kid. So Oklahoma State is doing a great job of giving Oklahoma kids an opportunity. They're going up there and excelling. Jaden's seeing that as well.
Yeah.
He was going to games all year, so he saw the culture that they had set forth. And Coach Gundy, being a Middale kid, also played a role into it as well, because he knows that Coach Gundy cares about the Middale kids and cares about the culture that we have over here. And with the recruiting and the way it's going right now, every D1 coach that I have visited with, when they come by recruiting, this is the platform that they're telling me has going. Right now, it's the transfer portal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's JUCO, then it's high school kids. So you don't have the opportunity to be as patient as you once were when it comes to commitment. When you get that opportunity, you have to take advantage of it. Jaden had a great year. He showed what he could do, and he just wasn't getting the looks like normally in the past we would have got with our past players. So he took that opportunity to commit, to make sure that he has a college education that's going to be paid for.
Yes, sir.
And I think he's going to take advantage of it. And I think he's only going to continue to grow. I think Oklahoma State really got a steal. I think we'll be able to see that in the latter part of basketball season, because he's having a great basketball season so far. I think he had 20 points the other night versus Norman North. I remember
time.
Joe Bach Clemens came to the game versus Shawnee and kind of watched him play a little bit. And when you see a guy out there with his height and his size move around, it's pretty special. So I think as we progress towards the spring and going into the next fall, everybody's going to see what kind of caliber Jaden Foreman is, and I'm excited to see it. You got David Stone as well, but I think Jaden's right there with him, if not better.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So, like I said, I know you guys are coming off meeting for, district players and all that. I think you guys racked up some awards.
Yeah.
We ready to talk about a little bit of it?
Yeah, just to finish off the recruiting, we got some guys, some seniors that are getting some opportunities as well. Jason Smith has been presented with numerous Division II opportunities. He hadn't got the D1 opportunities that I thought, and I think the transfer portal has really hurt that. Everybody knows that. It's a good thing for college kids, because if you're at a college university and things aren't going well, you're able to go test the water just like the college coaches do and go to a different university and not have to sit out. But it has really hurt this 2022 class. But, I think they'll benefit from it when they're in college, so it'll balance out. He's got numerous D2 opportunities, UCO, East Central, Northwest Oklahoma State, and NEO just offered him as well. And that's where I went. So I know what you could do if you go there and take care of business. Same thing with Darius Hampton. You know, NEO offered him. He has numerous D2 opportunities, and Virgil has some as well, and Ethan as well. So those seniors are going to have some opportunities to go into the next level, and that's what it's all about, to go get that education paid for. So
that's the most important thing, Coach. You just said it. The
everybody don't go to the
education
NFL, man. You know, and you don't want to raise college debt. Is a real factor that we don't talk about in the community enough.
Man,
you know,
you preach it.
That debt can really put you in a position as you get older, and you're kind of not wasting.
And those
money.
kids understand it hurts their credit.
Yeah, it hurts your credit. It just puts you in a realm that you don't want to be in as an adult, especially if you can get it paid for free.
Yes, sir.
Then I have a lot of friends that wanted to go be regular students, and they could have done it, but they didn't have the determination to do it for whatever reason. Most of my friends that graduated with degrees were college athletes. So
yes,
being
sir.
a college athlete can kind of propel you and kind of help you, because you get tutors, you get extra things that you won't get if you weren't a college athlete. So you don't just, and we got a saying that I've been saying to the kids, don't let football use you, use football. So that's what we're doing. As far as the all-district honors, it was a very successful day for us, you know, and
Sure.
we had a great year in district, you know, starting off with MVP of the district, offense and defense, MVP over the whole district, Virgil Yates. You know, and I felt like he earned it. You know, a kid who didn't play quarterback since his freshman year to step in May to be able to take his first snaps as a quarterback and to be able to have the year that he had and lead our program, that was exceptional. You know, for him to be able to win MVP over the whole district shows what kind of player he was and show what kind of leader he was. You know, so that's a great thing. And Darius Hampton, you know, the sack king, breaking the sack record. He got defensive lineman of the year. He was up for defensive player of the year. He was going against the kid from PC North, who was very deserving. So
yes,
you could have went either way with those guys, but for him to be able to get defensive lineman of the year, that's exceptional. I mean, you know, that's an award that he can remember forever. Then Jason Smith, you know, he got utility player of the year. That award basically is someone who plays multiple positions, does it all. Jason was a great running back. He was a great linebacker. He always energized us with some kind of big hit or some kind of big run. So he got utility player of the year. Then Ethan Lawrence, you know, we all saw what he was able to do and come into the program and be able to switch from receiver to running back. He got newcomer of the year. Unfortunately, the awards you can only get one, because I feel like he could have got newcomer and running back of the year in the district. You know, I told him that newcomer is, to me, more beneficial and it's more awarding because it shows that you were better than any player. And it's not just players that move into the district, just any players that step into new roles. As people have graduated, he was the best newcomer in the district, and that's exceptional. And then Brian Stalker, he got linebacker of the year. It was a Kobe. He shared it with the number 33 from PC North, who was a great player as well. He got inside linebacker of the year. Then we got numerous guys that got first team. We had 3 linemen. Quadre Gilbert got first team all district. Gabe Rios, Kyron Lindsay, Aaron Lewis. Anytime you get 4 linemen that get all district, kind of shows how we were able to run the ball.
Yeah, win the ball.
Yes, sir. Then we had a couple of receivers as well, Tyton Denton and Jaden Jones. Then I was able to get coach of the year. You know,
Congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Thank you. And like I've always said with those type of awards, that's not just a single award. That was my coaching staff, the teachers and the administration, the parents, then the community, and the players. Most importantly, that award goes to everybody because everybody helped me do it. It takes a village. So I'm thankful in my first year to be able to win Region 8 Coach of the Year, and then to be able to win 6A2 District 1 Coach of the Year. That's a big accomplishment. And I hope I can build on that going into 5A and going into the future.
Well, Coach, you talk about, these awards these young men done, you got to think you guys were a 4-17 last year.
Yeah.
And now you come back, you end up being a 9-2. And you can't, no one can hold your head down because, like I said, you're going down to 5A. You watch what 5A did. Me and you talked about 5A, not knocking 5A, but you take your talent and your speed and the kids that you got coming back next year down to 5A. Collinsville team that won it, and you watch that game with them and Carl Albert, putting your defense out there and your offense against those guys. I mean, it's going to be a totally different. I think you guys will be a powerhouse. But I called it last year and I call it now. Sitting here on this Tuesday morning, that you guys will be the team to beat next year. in 5A football. You know, Carl Albert's always going to be Carl Albert, you know, Guthrie and some of those teams. But you guys, if everything clicks, everything goes right, and I know injury plays a part of it,
Yes,
but if everything goes right, you guys will be a team that's going to be reckoned with. It's going to be everybody's going to circle on their schedule like, hey, we got to bring our best game. But a lot of these guys should be tickled to death that they got these awards because they mean a lot. It's something they can always share with their family and their kids when they have kids. That hey, at one point in time, I still got mine. I made district player of the year when I was at Middle City, and that was back in 1991.
Yeah.
That's something I still can show my boys. Back then, we had the VHS tape, so
Yeah.
they don't show as good. You got to find a TV that play it. But
Absolutely.
just what you guys have done over here. From football to basketball to track. I mean, you talk about, when you talk about we want to state championship in this, we want to state championship in this. I mean, Del City has done nothing but win state championship. You guys are like a Bigsby in your own way. You think Bigsby wasn't in football, but you guys are winning in multiple sports.
Yes,
Bigsby just winning in football.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
got basketball. You have track. You're right there on the doorstep of football.
Yeah.
The baseball team is with Coach Mitchell coming on board, being the new head coach, is going to turn things around. The guy that plays the game and knows the game. So
Yes,
wrestling, you guys got female wrestling. One of the top schools in the state that has that.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Mill City, Carl Albert, even Choctaw, a powerhouse of wrestling. They don't even have female wrestling. So,
Yes, sir.
what you guys are doing over here is great stuff. But one of the biggest things that you preach and you preach and you preach and you preach is education. I mean, and I'm gonna give a little shout out to my baby girl. She just graduated, last Saturday.
That's awesome, man.
That's the first one. I didn't graduate from college. Neither did my wife. Her
she's
mom
the first
did.
one?
First one.
Man, that's awesome,
and
man.
so, I mean, so to see that and see her do that and walk down that aisle, and she was a college athlete. She could have ran track.
Yeah.
She cheered at UCO, then she cheered at Arkansas
She's
Tech.
gonna be a teacher.
She's gonna be a teacher.
That's so awesome, man.
And that's what she wants to do,
Yeah.
And you can't take that from her. She's actually
Absolutely.
she's teaching right now, and she loves those kids. And it's so funny because we're sitting there, and I'm on vacation, so I'm sitting there texting her, and she's in the class. She's like, I'm busy right now, but it just she's taking a pride of it though. But it's people like you and her and Coach Hatchet and the rest of the staff that helps get these kids prepared. And I just tell you, man, I mean, not you winning Coach of the Year is an honor, big time, but just the man, the character that you are to these kids is the most important thing, man, because these kids are going to remember you. I'm telling you, Stone's going to remember you. Foreman is going to remember you. All the guys that left, man, if you watch your guys on a Friday night on your sidelines, a lot of your guys come back and watch you coach, watch you, you do your thing. So
and I think that's important, and I'm not a guy that looks at race, but race is a factor in certain issues. And for these kids to see successful Black African American women like your daughter, and see successful African American men like me and Coach Hatchet, I think that's very important. They need to understand that football and sports, basketball, whatever it is, it's not all about going to the NFL.
No.
It's not all about going to the NBA. We need to show them that you can go be an athletic director. You can go be a teacher. You can go be a doctor. It is different ways to be successful in life outside of sports, but you can still utilize sports to get you to those positions and have great memories and have great attributes and characteristics that you gain from that. But they have to see us outside of being professional sports and rappers and singers. It is other ways that you can go be successful as a Black man in America, Black woman in America, and nobody can hold you down.
No.
We can't sit here and think we're being held down. All the opportunities are right in front of you, but you're gonna have to grind. You're gonna have to
go
do
get
things
it.
right. You're gonna have to go get it. So I'm excited to hear your daughter's graduating. That's amazing. I'm fostering my niece and nephew, so now that I'm going through the parenthood cycle of it, I see how difficult it is to get a kid through college and get a kid through high school in general. So you to be able to do that, that's a big testament to you as a father, and congratulations on that, because that's big time.
I appreciate it, but like I said, but it's people like you, that help provide that, with the coaching and being, like I said, some of these kids, no matter what school you're at, you could be at Douglas, you can be at Millwood, you can be at Mustang, you can be at UConn. Some of these kids still need that loving and caring, because at the end of the day, we talk about everybody, like you say, everybody wants to go to NFL, everybody wants to go D1.
Yeah.
I had to humble myself and my two young men that, hey, D1's not for everybody, man. And it's so funny now, I sit back and I watch that, and I look at some of these dads, their tweets and their posts, and like, my kid this, my kid that. That kid's gonna play 4 years of college ball, and he's done.
Yeah.
And he's done. He might not even play 4 years. And so parents, really humble yourself. I mean, I pub my little one because at the end of the day, you want your school paid for, so I'm a pubber to get a school.
Absolutely.
But do I want her to go play WNBA? No, I want her to go get a great job, make great money, and be able to take care of her family. That's the most important thing because, man, you know what? Everything ain't guaranteed. It's not, man. And I tell my wife that all the time, man. And actually, she tells me, you know, it doesn't matter how big your house is, what kind of car you drive. All that matters is that, hey, are you happy with what you're doing in life? And I'm tickled for, you know, my kids. I'm tickled for what you do. Coach Hatchet did. I've known Coach Hatchet for many, many years, man.
Right,
I mean, when he still had hair, you know, he still had that bald face. So just to see what he's done over here, and like I said, I think God has done a great job putting you guys together and what you guys have done for Del City. Well, Coach, any closing thoughts before we get out? Because I think we're preaching right now, and sometimes it's good to preach, though. You know,
people need to hear it. You know, people need to understand that. You know, Del City has a certain image, you know, and we're killing that image, and we're killing it daily by relationships and things like that. And people moving forward are going to continue to see that this isn't just an athletic school; it can be an academic school as well. Nothing breaks my heart more when I hear people talk about Del City in a negative light when there's so many great things going over here. So I just want to continue to paint that picture that this is a great place to be.
It is,
and I think parents will see that in the future, and they'll be thankful for trusting in myself and Coach Hatchet and Ms. Hill and the leaders of Del City. I just want to continue to let everybody know that as a football program, we're doing things the right way. We're lifting weights, but not only are we lifting weights, we're doing study hall, we're doing character building, and we're just teaching young men how to be men. And we're doing that in all our athletic programs. We're doing it in basketball, baseball, track, powerlifting and wrestling. Kids are getting a wonderful experience at Del City. They're getting an experience not only as an athlete, but as a person, and learning how to live life and learn how to be a productive citizen in the future. So we'll be doing this once a month. We'll be checking in. It's good to get back out there to the community and be able to talk to everybody again. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about what we're doing, and I look forward to it.
And one of the things that we are going to do, we're going to not just do it here. We're going to do it at different locations in Del City. Is to get their names out there. You know, I know Coach Hatchet. He had talked about the new barbecue place right there off 15th Street.
Yes, sir.
You know, Mill City. I think we want to shoot a show there.
Yes, sir.
Coach always got Starbucks. We might need to shoot a show at Starbucks. But we just want to get back to the people in Del City.
Yes, sir.
You know, let them know. You know, I mean, because at the end of the day, Del City is growing. You know, tremendously. I mean, from the new place, they got Ted's and B-Dubs and all these places they're putting in here, the good food places, and I mean, it's Del City's a great place to live. I lived at Del City one point in time. You know, I tell you, people, like you said, Coach said, people think it's a bad place, but it's no worse than being at a 90210 school to being right here in Del City, because I think what Coach, Ms. Hill and Coach Jones and the rest of the staff has done for Del City and the program. I think Del City had got a bad rap at one point in time, but I know Ms. Hill has done a great job, putting her finger on. And then the education, man, you get a great education here. One thing I know, my boys did the block schedule, and at the end of the day, my son came to me and he goes, man, I wish I would have done the block schedule because of the simple fact that I took math as a sophomore, but I never took it again. And so he gets to college, it wasn't there. And and him and another young man that talked about that, block schedule is good for education. I mean, for not education, but for sports. But I don't know if it's really good for the education part, though. Yeah. But Coach,
and one thing I want to add on to that, as far as just Del City in general, the success we're having at Del City that I love about it is with Del City kids. And we're not getting other kids from other locations. These kids are kids who went through elementary here and went through middle school. And we're having success with kids that are brought up through Del City, and I love that. And in the past, people have cherry-picked Del City kids for whatever reason. I think it's athletic reasons, but we're starting to get our kids to stay put, and we're showing the kind of product that we can produce, not only athletically, but academically. If you give Del City a chance and you stick it out, you're going to have a great experience as an athlete and academically. So I hope kids trust what we're doing, and I hope kids stick around and show that we can be successful here at Del City.
Well, Coach, there's no reason for a kid to leave.
Yeah.
You get the same thing that you're getting at any other school. Why go to another school? You got guys going D1. You got guys winning state championship. It's track, basketball, football, golf, whatever you got going. you're still doing the same thing. So what makes a kid say, hey, it's better to go to this school? Because I've seen a bunch of kids do that this year,
Yeah.
and guess what? They came up, they only played one playoff game, and some other teams played 2 or 3 playoff games.
That's
You know, when
unfortunate.
you're winning, people's gonna come to you anyway, coach. They're gonna enroll in
sir.
your school. Like I
Absolutely.
said, you're doing it the right way. You know, you're not sneaking them in the back door. So you just keep doing what you're doing. And Mr. Collier and everybody at Middale ain't gotta worry about Coach Jones because he's doing it the right way. So
Thank you.
we appreciate you guys watching, having Coach Lenny, having Coach Jones back again for another great show of Keeping It 100 Coach Jones Show. And we'll catch you next time.